What is up, people of the multiverse? Welcome to my Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1 review and breakdown. And honestly, I literally just got back from watching the episode and it was crazy. There were some things I expected, there were both other things that I just didn't expect, and there were just some crazy things, especially with that ending, which definitely has me quite suspicious as to what will be happening in Part 2 and the other parts as well. It was just, there was a lot of things going on, guys, so many things. So yeah, this is going to be probably a lengthy breakdown as usual, and I'm going to get right into it today, guys. So honestly, let me know your hype and your thoughts about this episode and everything like that down in the comments below, and also show your hype by leaving a like on this video, especially if you go on to enjoy it. Subscribe to make sure you never miss out on a future Crisis video with the notifications on. And also, by the way, if you want to fanboy out about Crisis, my Discord server is the place to do that. The server invite will be in the top pinned comment down below, but that is enough plugging out the way. We need to get into what happened in Part 1 of Crisis on Infinite Earths. So right at the beginning, I really enjoyed how they decided to just start all of this, with the Monitor saying something like a single black infinitude. I can't even repeat what he was saying there, but it essentially just sounded like the multiverse explanation. He got up to the age of heroes being born, and kind of just a little bit of a recap on the crossover events, seeing clips from Elseworlds and other things of the like. But that is when we got some cameos from other Earths. So that began with Earth 89, which of course is meant to be a nod at Batman 89. However, they did use the Batwoman symbol in the sky, even though, like, you know, it said Batman captures Joker on the newspaper. I don't know, I just wanted to chuck that in there. That was not the Batman symbol. But then, guys, then we had Earth 9 with San Francisco, with Hank, or should I say Hawk from Titans, as well as Jason Todd. Now, from what I'm hearing, this is the unused, or should I say scrapped footage of the Titans Season 1 finale being used. And actually, you know, coincidentally, I did a video about the scrapped Titan Season 1 finale yesterday. I'll leave that in the cards above for those of you who are interested. The whole video just surrounds whole new looks and photos of that original Titan Season 1 finale, which contains many different things than what we did get to see in the finale. But yeah, like, this is very interesting, because originally there were rumors going around that the Titans were going to be in Crisis, and it was going back and forth, to and fro, again and again. Apparently, they were meant to appear in the Titans Tower in these kind of heroic poses, but as a result, it looks like they kind of used some footage from that original finale. This also reminds me of one of the new photos from the scrapped Season 1 finale, you know, that I went over in yesterday's video, of where we actually saw the Doom Patrol with the Titans in that original finale. Or it seemed that Larry was opening up a portal. Hank and Jason seem to be in very similar, you know, poses to what they actually used in this Crisis episode, so you never know. But I've got a bunch of people saying, you know, does this mean that the Titans Earth is destroyed? Like, well, what's going on there? I think this is just meant to be a little nod, just for those kind of worrying, or, you know, really kind of going in on those details. I mean, you could argue, since this is from the Titans Season 1 scrapped finale, that this isn't the Titans Earth of the TV show, in terms of, you know, like, as of where it is now, Season 2, how it's ended, because you could just easily say in a nerdy kind of way that this footage was never actually in the show, it was scrapped, so you could just argue that's a whole different Earth, and the Titans that we're actually watching on DC Universe isn't actually Earth 9. But then again, you could say that it is, but at the same time, with how Crisis and the story works, it doesn't mean that they kind of won't come back, if you know what I mean. But yeah, like, I wouldn't read into that too much. Then we had Earth X with the Ray, and then Earth 66 with Robin, or should I say Burt Ward's Robin, with the Holy Crimson Skies of Death, which was a very funny little reference there. And now this is where the episode really starts to catapult. Now, of course, we can't forget that this is a Supergirl episode, which is why we saw that beginning with Supergirl defending Will Wheaton, who is, of course, known from Star Trek, Big Bang Theory, you name it, defending him from Spike the Dragon. They slowly started to get into the whole seismic activity going across the planet, and how this was turning out to be an antimatter wave that would destroy Earth 38's universe, whether that's Argo City, where of course Superman and Lois and Kara's mother are, which also saw a funny little scene of Lois joking about Superman facing off against Doomsday or General Zod, Lex Luthor, Death Traps, but he has met his match with a diaper. But either way, this is where stuff was really starting to go down, because Supergirl warned them that Argo was in danger. The antimatter arrives, and this was like Krypton all over again, in a very similar way to Kal-El's parents, you know, sending him off in an escape pod from Krypton. Lois and Clark did the exact same thing, and baby little John went on his own journey this episode, which, you know, took him to Star City 2046, but Earth 16. Like, who saw that coming? But we'll get onto those details a bit later. Now, as you know, Crisis was really starting for Supergirl's Earth, this is where we saw a bit of a montage of collecting the Earth 1 hero, so this started off on Lian Yu, where we actually got that scene, if you guys watch Arrow, from the very end of the last Arrow episode, where Crisis arrives to Earth 1, and that's when Harbinger arrived and took Oliver and Mia. We went to Central City, and we picked up the Flash, or I keep saying we, but Harbinger, Gotham City with Batwoman, Legends, they were in the bar, they were taken, and essentially all of the new recruited heroes were delivered to the DEO, and that's when, apparently as well, Lois and Clark were saved on Argo from Harbinger last second, which, if they just waited one more second, I guess, to launch that escape pod, Baby John could have been saved with them. Batwoman punching Lila felt a bit random. I guess you could say that's a character. I don't know, it just felt a little bit cheesy to me. Oh, and by the way, to those of you who are interested in my Batwoman reviews and keep asking why did I stop it, I'll probably try and review the show again after Crisis on Infinite Earths ends, so just stick around for that for those of you who are interested. Now, this is where everyone, should I say, gets debriefed about the antimatter wave coming to Earth 38. Now, this may be familiar to a lot of you because they showed a lot of this stuff in the trailers. They even released this very scene, and that's when the Quantum Tower appeared as well, and we got a cool little explanation of how the Monitor actually placed these on key Earths at the dawn of time as a defense against the Anti-Monitor, and then that's when the red sky started dissipating because that was the whole point of the Quantum Towers. Apparently, it generates a field which reverses the antimatter energy. Now, this whole scene also introduced where Baby John went, as I teased earlier, 2046, Earth 16, and the legends say that they've actually been there before, and I was thinking for a second, oh wait, they've actually finally got to explain the legend's future, because a lot of, comments from the Arrowverse across the years, people keep referring back to that future Oliver Queen with the robotic arm as actually being a thing, but ever since then, that wasn't so much canon. This is a long explanation, but there were so many inconsistencies, and it didn't really add up as to what future they saw there. And I thought with the comments they said, they didn't realize that it wasn't Earth 1 they went to back then, it was Earth 16, but this actually still turned out to be a different Oliver than the one they even saw back then in Legends of Tomorrow, if you're still with me. And this Oliver Queen kind of turned out to be, as I said, different. You can tell he's not as old as the version the Legend saw a few years ago in the future, and if anything, I got pretty emotional in these scenes because this appears to be an Oliver who has lost more or less everything, and I really loved that last line from Sarah saying, "You're a good man on every Earth." Stephen Amell's acting here was really on point. You just felt very bad for this Oliver. I mean, this Oliver felt very bad anyway. He said how he felt guilty ever since he took Sarah on that gambit. But either way, imagine how different the chronology of events for this Oliver on Earth 16 has been. He didn't even know about, time travel or should I say, parallel universes, the multiverse, yet he's got to this point where the bunker is still around, the green. I mean, you just have to think about how different things have been for him. He's still the Green Arrow, yet he knows nothing, nothing about any of the kind of crossovers our version of Oliver has been through, whether that's through Dominators, time travel, cosmic beings. I don't know. I just felt like it was a really cool, different version of Oliver who still remains a good man no matter what version of him you see. Now, at this point in the first Crisis episode, Oliver gives Mia her own suit. Now, say what you will about Mia, I've warmed to her a lot more on the Arrow episodes because she came to present day in Arrow Season 8, and it felt like she was a lot more entertaining there versus having her in her own future scenes with the future characters. So yeah, I will say I've become a bit more fond of her, and it's just, I know people are going to have issues with the actual lines spoken here in terms of how Oliver said there should always be at least one Green Arrow, and how also he said, and I quote here, "You earned it." Now, did she? That is up for debate. And I also get it from a story standpoint, especially with the way the episode ended. We know we're getting the backdoor pilot on the Arrow TV show, which literally sets up Mia's TV show, the Green Arrow and the Canaries. I don't know, despite what happened with Oliver handing down the mantle and whatnot, it still feels a little bit kind of out of place to me. But hey, let me know your thoughts. I love the next moment in the episode where Barry tells Oliver that he's supposed to die, of course, according to the newspaper article, and how the Monitor kind of appeared to him saying, Barry the Flash must die in Crisis and all of that. That's when Oliver got very not happy, and he just summons the Monitor right away. And that's when Oliver kind of speaks to the Monitor on that little station of his overlooking the universe, and he mentions the agreement that, I die, Barry and Kara live, which is, I felt like Oliver with that line was a lot of fan speaking in terms of the debate of the deal Oliver made with the Monitor and the Elseworlds crossover, because this has been actually quite a theorized and speculated about thing. Was it actually just for Elseworlds, the deal that he made, and literally Oliver thought that it wasn't. It extended to the future as well. But that's when the Monitor points out, just like what a lot of people have also said, that yes, he mentioned that he spared his friends' lives so they could save their world last year, but that doesn't mean the future was ruled out, which, unfortunately means, Barry and Kara are very vulnerable in this Crisis event. He didn't actually get a token to save their lives for Crisis on Infinite Earths as well. And this is where the Shadow Demons started to arrive now. So we're getting towards the end of the episode. I loved, the supers arriving with the Flash, the ships were evacuating people. The skies were going red again as, the Quantum Tower was kind of failing. We had Clark and Kara trying to use their heat vision to try and keep, the red skies at bay, just to get a little bit more time. Every second meant more and more people were being evacuated from Earth 38 to try and get over to Earth 1. But well, as this portal was being opened at the same time from Lena Luthor. Now, as much as I did like this ending and I got emotional about it, honestly, I think we kind of all did. And if you didn't, well, who are you? But either way, this is when Oliver is making his stand. He's getting hit by the Shadow Demons. The Monitor arrived, saying the battle was lost and they must retreat for the battle that is yet to come. And that's when he starts taking all of the heroes. Earth 38, as important as the Earth is, it really isn't the real fight. And that's when Oliver said, well, if not everyone is evacuated, then it's not time. And that's when, I don't know, I found this a bit weird. The Monitor gets hit by one of Oliver's arrows. It felt like a bit of a weird scene. I had to rewind it like twice and watch it 2 or 3 times just because, I don't know, you couldn't exactly tell how the Monitor got hit. Even though I saw him get hit with the arrow, it just kind of, I don't know, I had to do a double take. Like, was that Oliver? Right, okay, it was. And then I just kind of found a little bit of an issue with a cosmic being letting an arrow even touch him. I'm pretty sure they've shown Marnovu dissolve stuff like that before his very eyes before, even a speedster, Earth 90's Barry Allen, if you remember. So I kind of found it a little bit hard to believe, but I'm not trying to nitpick. I'm just saying, like, really. But either way, that kind of slowed Marnovu down because, Oliver ultimately didn't want to get teleported away just like everyone else. He wanted to make sure more and more people got away. And, that there's a really interesting fact revealed by Marnovu that, Earth 38, despite it being no more, out of 7.5 billion, 3 billion made it to Earth 1 on ships, and Oliver alone, fighting for as long as he did, secured like an extra billion people out of that. So his sacrifice was definitely not in vain. Like, they definitely gave, a lot of, value to it. 1 billion lives is huge. So I'm not trying to negate how cool of a way this was to go out, but at the same time, Oliver getting hit there, by the Shadow Demons, and, he got teleported last minute, and, I'm just gonna say it, he died after saying a very, very sad kind of speech to Barry, to Mia, talking about Felicity, saying he loves them, everything like that, all the kind of strings you'd expect with a scene like this. But I just kind of felt like I don't know, like, I don't believe this is it. And we kind of know that it isn't it, by the way. This isn't really a spoiler alert. They've shown scenes in the trailers, whether that's photos from promotional material. Oliver still has a part to play in this crossover, whether that's one way or another, whether he transcends into this kind of other character kind of thing. Some of you guys may know what I'm on about with that. But either way, let's not talk about that. Let's just leave it at now that we assume he's going to somehow come back one way or another. But I don't know, I just felt like there wasn't enough kind of detail to him when he was actually dying. We just saw him get, scrapped by a couple of Shadow Demons at a time, and then before you know it, it was teleported. I just felt like there should have been a bit more of a going out with an arrow kind of thing, but we were just kind of left to assume after the teleportation that he was just beaten up a lot, off screen that we didn't see. I mean, we saw a little bit of it, but maybe what I'm asking for is a bit too dark. It would have been cool to see those Shadow Demons like really kind of batter the hero down until his dying breath until he did get teleported. Maybe that would have added a little bit of the stuff that I feel was missing. But either way, I'm just saying something was kind of missing for me, but I'm not negating still how cool this was, because I really did still enjoy it, even though it was kind of unexpected. I don't think I've ever seen the Monitor act so emotional as well. He said that this is not supposed to be the way it happened, not the end that he foresaw originally for Oliver Queen dying in Crisis. So yeah, very interesting. As well, Pariah arrived, and lo and behold, we all know that it was kind of Nash Wells, or where Nash Wells was headed. But the thing that very much so interested me, and I'm sure many of you, is where he said, and this is part of Pariah's storyline anyway, but more specifically on the shows is what I'm intrigued as to how this works, and maybe if we're going to see any flashbacks with it, is that he said he freed the Anti-Monitor from his confinement, and now he's sentenced to bear witness everything as a result of that. But, you know, we didn't see him kind of, you know, free the Anti-Monitor from his confinement. One thing I will say, though, even though I don't think this totally adds up, is that in my last Flash review, you know, where we were seeing Nash Wells actually think that he got saved by the Monitor, and then he activated the Paragon symbols, and that's when he got kind of sucked away into the room. I was saying that that didn't sound like the Monitor, and he was also requesting Nash Wells before he became Pariah to bow down to him, like kind of unlike what the Monitor would actually do. So I wonder if that has anything to do with kind of freeing the Anti-Monitor. Now the reason why I say that doesn't add up is because we know that the antimatter wave was happening in the whole multiverse a long time before the creation of Pariah, when quote unquote the Monitor was telling him to bow down in this scene. But at the same time, you know, it was very unlike the Monitor, and something was off about this scene. So either way, I'm really hoping we get more context to the whole Pariah creation and how he freed the Anti-Monitor in the CW's version of things, just because, you know, otherwise this was too much of an ambiguous moment for people to just swallow. Like, we need more information, and hopefully, and I'm sure, we will get that. So that was Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1, guys, and I felt like it was a solid way to start off the crossover. This is only Part 1. Like, that, we can't forget that. Part 1 did all of this, and Oliver is, you know, dead as of right now, but we do know, you know, just from, you know, a lot of behind the scenes info that, you know, it's not like he filmed for just episode 1 and that was it. So those of you who are worrying about anything like that, do not worry. We've got a lot more of this story to come. This is just the beginning, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for us. And considering the next episode is Batwoman, and, you know, we've got Kevin Conroy's Batman involved in that, we are truly in for a treat. And honestly, yeah, just looking forward to the rest of this crossover. So let me know what you thought of this first episode, guys. Let me know all of your theories, all of your speculation. Let me know your thoughts on my opinions. Let me know if you thought that I missed anything out. And as always, guys, if you don't want to just talk about this here with me personally, you can head over to my Discord server, become a member, say hi there. The top pinned comment of the comment section down below will have the link to my server invite. Other than that, everyone, like this video if you did enjoy it, subscribe to make sure you never miss out on a future video of mine. You can check out my past couple of videos appearing on screen now, but that is absolutely everything, everyone. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you people of the multiverse in the next video. Goodbye.